Greetings, friends, and welcome back to Answering Atheism, brought to you by your friends here at abitoforange.com. Part 3, What Evidence Proves the Existence of God? Well, we've seen that atheism basically fails on its own merits, but what about actually proving the existence of God? What's on the other side of that metaphysical nickel? Let's take a look at the entire universe, and other things atheism can't account for. We're given the origin of the entire universe in Genesis chapter 1, where it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." Over the course of the first chapter of Genesis, we're given sort of a day-by-day breakdown of what God created, and it is told to us as just 6 literal calendar days about 6,000 years ago. So, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth is what's under your feet, and the heavens is everything above it. So God created the heavens and the earth. First there was the earth, and it's described as being essentially just a big blob of water, and he hasn't done anything to it yet. And over the next couple of days, God creates light, God separates the water from the sky, he separates the land from the water, he creates the sun, moon, and stars, he fills the oceans and the sky with living things, and then finally land animals and the first 2 people, Adam and Eve, on day 6. Good to make note of is that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. This shows us essentially what we think about the universe today. That in the beginning, time, God created energy, the heavens, space, and the earth, matter. The universe as we know it is time, energy, space, and matter. Atheism has to come up with an alternative to the Genesis account, because in the beginning, God created. Well, once you take God out, well, we still have the creation. We still have the universe. Where did it come from? Well, Big Bang cosmology says, in the beginning, nothing. Now, to be fair, atheism does not necessarily require Big Bang cosmology as it's taught now in schools and whatnot, but it does need some explanation for the universe. Either you have to believe the universe was always here, which, as I will explain later, is not a possibility, or you have to explain why the universe is here, and there has to be some kind of cause. Well, the typical atheist explanation today is Big Bang cosmology. In the beginning, nothing. Well, when we say nothing, I mean, first there was nothing. No time, no space, no energy, or matter. And then it exploded! Literally, that's what it teaches. First there was nothing, and then it exploded. I know, you're thinking, what exploded? Nothing exploded. Well, how did nothing explode? Well, first there was nothing, and then it exploded. But if you say nothing exploded, aren't you saying that there wasn't an explosion? No, we're saying there was an explosion, but it was nothing that exploded. Ugh. It goes round and round like this, but let me take a brief side note here for theistic evolutionists, because there are some people among us who will say, well, the Genesis account and Big Bang cosmology, they're both saying the same thing, aren't they? In the beginning, God created, it was the first moment, that's the Big Bang. God said, let there be light. That was the explosion of the Big Bang, right? So, aren't they kind of telling the same story in the same way? These are the same story, parallel accounts, just told in a slightly different way. Whereas the Bible says on the first day, Big Bang cosmology would say in the first couple billion years or so. It's epochs, so the word day is just a metaphor. The problem is, that's not true. You cannot run these 2 accounts parallel. They are not the same story told in the same way. These cannot both be true at the same time. And just to give a couple of examples, which came first? The earth or the stars? Light on earth or the sun? The oceans or the land? Life in the oceans or life on land? Birds or dinosaurs? Humans or death? There is a laundry list of ways in which these 2 accounts conflict irreconcilably. The only things that these 2 accounts have in common, and strangely uniquely so, is that they account for a finite past wherein a finite amount of time ago, first there was nothing, and then there was the universe. The big difference, and the important difference, of course, is that the Genesis account says, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Big Bang says, in the beginning nothing created the heavens and the earth. But wait, everything came from nothing? Well, according to Big Bang cosmology, yes. But isn't that impossible? Well, yes, it's logically impossible for anything to come from nothing. From nothing, nothing comes. Whatever properties something has to have to create anything, nothing doesn't have those properties. So since nothing doesn't have any properties, it doesn't matter how simple the properties are, nothing doesn't have it. So whatever it takes to make a universe, no matter how simple it might be, nothing doesn't have the property it takes to make the universe. So how do we fix this obvious problem with the Big Bang model of the universe's creation? It's simple. We change the definition of the word nothing. You think I'm kidding. This book is called A Universe from Nothing, written by Lawrence Krauss. He is one of the poster boys of modern atheism. The afterword, written by Richard Dawkins. Richard Dawkins is one of the other poster boys of modern atheism. So they're trying to explain why there is something rather than nothing, saying that the universe came from nothing. But of course, from nothing, nothing comes. So they changed the definition of the word nothing. Before you start throwing full wine bottles at your computer screen and cussing me out in the comments on YouTube, check out what Neil deGrasse Tyson said. He's an astrophysicist at the American Museum of Natural History, and he says this in his brief review of this book. Nothing is not nothing. Nothing is something. That's how a cosmos can be spawned from the void, a profound idea conveyed in a universe from nothing, that unsettles some, yet enlightens others. Meanwhile, it's just another day on the job for physicist Lawrence Krauss. Read that again. Nothing is not nothing. Nothing is something. This is what it takes for modern atheism to explain the universe. They have to, in the name of science, devolve their thinking to the point where nothing isn't nothing, nothing is something. It's worse than magic. Now, when a magician pulls a rabbit out of a hat, there's a hat, and somewhere there's a rabbit, and there's a magician. Now, Big Bang cosmology is like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat, only there's no magician, and there's no hat. So where did the rabbit come from? Nobody is going to pull a rabbit out of nothing, nowhere, no when. If you can find this act, I'd say go see it, because that'd be worth the price of admission. Do you believe in magic? Well, you have to if you're going to accept Big Bang cosmology. I have nothing to say about that, and by nothing, I mean something. Well, I hope you enjoyed this bit of orange. Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and as always, just remember, Jesus loves you.